If you've ever used a cardio machine, like an exercise bike, a treadmill, an elliptical, stairmaster, rowing machine, these machines all lie to you. Specifically in terms of your power output, so that may be in mets or watts, and how many calories you have burned. So you may have walked on a treadmill for 30 minutes and the treadmill displays that, you burned 100 calories or maybe even 200 calories. And then you're so proud of yourself that you go to Starbucks and you buy a 200 calorie drink because you deserve it. Right? You burned 200 calories on the treadmill, so you deserve this. It's all you. But it's a lie. Because the calories displayed on the treadmill are not the amount of calories that you actually burned. Because cardio machines, they calculate how many calories you burn from using an average weight and also with how much power you are outputting. And so with that, you never input your weight into a cardio machine. Right? Like when you go on the treadmill, it never asks you how much do you weigh. It never does that, but it somehow spits out the amount of calories you burn. And that's very weird. And you should be very skeptical of that. And in addition, you can sort of help yourself on the machine to make it easier and therefore actually lower the amount of calories you are burning, but on the machine it has no effect. So one example is the Stairmaster. Many times on the Stairmaster, I would literally help myself. I would grab the rails and sort of pull myself up to make the cardio easier than it actually was. And regardless if I did this or not, the calories burned on the Stairmaster would be the same. Another would be how you angle yourself and position. Depending on the angle or the position I was at on an exercise bike, it would increase the amount of calories I was burning or decrease the amount of calories I was burning. Like for example, if I lean more forward, that increased the amount of calories I burned. If I lean backwards, that decreased the amount of calories that I burned. Which is really weird because the calories I burned should be the same. On the other hand, I've also had times where I position myself so that I make the bike easier for myself. By shifting my weight forward, I put more of my weight on the pedal so I can pedal easier. But the amount of calories that I burn don't change if I lean forward or if I lean backwards. So I've also had that happen to me before. There are so many factors that are not accounted for by cardio machines that it would not make sense for them to be accurate. Like they don't take into account your weight. They don't take into account of if you're helping yourself, nor the angle and positioning to make the movement easier. So it does not make sense at all to rely on the calories burned that is displayed on the machine. The thing is, the best machines can be off by 30%. And that is the best machines. But most gyms don't have the best machines. So could you imagine how inaccurate those machines are? Probably 50%, 60% off. Like imagine it says you're burning 100 calories, but in reality you only burn 40 or 50. You can then extrapolate that for even larger calorie bouts. Like 500 calories, if it's off by 50%, you only burn 250 calories. That's 250 calories less than what it actually displays. So out of all of this, do not trust what the cardio machine says. Don't trust the numbers to be actually real. Instead, a good rule of thumb is to literally have the calories that is displayed on the machine. Because it's much better to underestimate how many calories you burned on a machine than overestimate. I'm assuming that you're doing the cardio machine because you want to burn more calories, because you want to lose fat, or you want to eat more. Or at the very least, you don't want to gain fat, right? So if you underestimate it, it's only going to help you. So if you actually underestimate it and you actually burn more calories, you may end up losing fat that day. But if you didn't do that, you may end up actually gaining fat that day, because most cardio machines will overestimate the amount of calories that you burn. So don't trust your cardio machines. Trust them only 50%. And by that I don't mean 50% of the time, but have everything. Have the amount of calories that is burned.